Guys, how are you guys? I want to start with so much energy, but I just noticed that nowadays I don't have that much energy. I could have even danced for you, but thank you so much for coming and clicking on this link and just considering to watch this video. The past 2 episodes were about stories and personal life. Now today we're gonna get into the business, that is the remote work, that is the business of this channel. That is what we're gonna talk about today. It's remote work, and I think you've already seen the thumbnail. I think the thumbnail already says that these are the things that you need to consider before you get into remote work, and that is what we're gonna talk about in a calm way, in an understanding way, in a deeper level, so that you can get to grasp everything that you need before you get started with your journey. All right, so let me give minutes to those who have not subscribed. Imagine, guys, you guys are watching my videos and haven't subscribed. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and support me, so that when someone who wants to get into remote work have not yet bumped into this one, they are going to bump into it and maybe have a conversation and also learn something, a thing or two, when you subscribe. So subscribe. Let me just encourage you to subscribe. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, and today we're going to talk about things to consider before getting into remote work. This is going to be the part 1 of it, and then we have a part 2 next week. I don't know if you'll come back next week, because I don't want to make my videos long. As I said, the videos will be like 10 to 15 minutes and then we're done. So I've noticed that whatever things that I want to talk about, there are so many, they can't fit into 15 minutes, so we have to break it to another episode. So I hope to see you next week for part 2, but this is now the part 1. So the first thing that you need to consider before getting into remote work, first, learn that remote work is not just a job, it's a work style. It's a work style. You really need to understand the work style behind remote work. Understand that remote work calls for change of environment. You're not going to have the normal, let's say, work that you normally have in the office. In the office, you know, your boss is watching you. You cannot be on your phone 24/7 because he's busy watching you. Remote work, you can be, so long as you're able just to deliver whatever things that you're told to deliver. Or remote work, you can do that thing. So remote work cuts across many careers. Most of you, I think, have not understand the difference between remote work and online tasks. So remote work actually is beyond all careers. An accountant can get into remote work, a virtual assistant, a project manager, a software engineer, a designer, social media manager, a digital marketer, a business development personnel, a salesperson, a medical VA, the tech roles, the writers. Everyone can get into remote work depending on the field that you want to get into. And also even the medical personnel, anyone can get into remote work, so long as you're able just to learn the skills, you're able just to navigate through the skills that you're learning and just know what's best for you. So you're not getting into remote work, you're just transferring your existing skills. So let's say you are in law and you want to get into remote work, you have to leverage on the existing skills that you already had in law. If you are doing writing and research, that is what you're going to leverage on into a remote friendly role. So I will learn to hear in the comment section, what are the skills that you already have that you can use to work online? Have you identified some of the skills that you already have in your portfolio, in your skill set, in your experience, in anything that you are going to do? That you can use to work remotely, because remote work is not a career, it's just a way of working. It's working from home. It's not a career, it's just working from home. It's just the same as when you're having a traditional job and you have to advance as you go using the skills and the knowledge, but now the setup is from home or from anywhere that you're going to work. All right, if you haven't subscribed, guys, please subscribe. I keep on telling you to subscribe. The second thing that you need to consider before you get into remote work is that you must have a monetizable skill. So I've noticed that the biggest problem with people is that they don't have the skill. Most of you want to get into remote work but do not have the skill. And remote work is not like online tasks, but even the online tasks that people do out here, you need to learn whatever it is that is happening in that task. You cannot just get in and you don't have any skill to do it. So you must have a monetizable skill. If you don't have a skill, you won't get any income. And right now companies are hiring based on skill and not based on level of experience. And let me give you an example. So you think you've been managing projects for a long time in NGO space, let's say maybe 23 years of it. When you come to remote work, the simple things like learning Asana, Trello, Monday.com, and ClickUp. Those are the things that you really need to learn if you want to get into project management and work remotely. That is what is going to make a company to hire. You don't just come in from a point of, I see already been a project manager, and now you're saying, I don't have to have the skill. Please learn the skill, learn these tools, learn Monday.com, learn ClickUp, learn Asana, learn those skills that you need to learn. Skills are what companies pay for and not motivation. So for example, if you're in administrative and you want to get into remote work, the career that you would want to pivot into is the virtual assistant career. And so that means that you need to learn the skills, the tools that virtual assistants use, the ones that are not in line with whatever you've been doing in your career so far. Let's say you are in the healthcare or a medical person and you want to transition and start working remotely. You might consider getting into medical VA, medical coding, medical billing, or you can be a writer who writes majorly health and wellness articles. But that now means that you need to learn the extra skill. You need to learn the skill that is required for you to get into that role. If you want to get into medical VA, you have to learn how to do calendar scheduling. You have to learn the HIPAA regulations. You have to learn, if you want to get into medical coding, you have to learn some of the codes that are required for you to get there. Even billing, you have to learn those things. The last example that I'm going to use, or there's two last examples that I'm going to use, is writing. You're good in writing. You've been writing articles differently. The skill that you can use in this writing skill that you have, or the career that you can get into, it's the copywriting or the content writing skill. That is what you can get into when you get if you want to get into remote work. So can you tweak your writing skills well so that you can get into content writing, or you can get into copywriting or ghostwriting? But they pay so well. They pay so well. I don't know why people don't like going into content writing, ghostwriting, but they pay so well. The last one is operations. Operations and project management is the career that you can get into as you just operate with people physically. I know most of the times maybe you're using Google Drive, you're using Google Workspace, but now when you transition into remote work, you'll have to learn the Monday.com, ClickUp, Asana. Those are things that you need to learn when you get into the remote workspace. You don't just need many skills, you just need one strong marketable skill. You can combine one strong marketable skill that you will want to explore. So I would want to hear from you. If you had a list, if you had to list one skill that someone will pay for you for today, what will be that skill? If you had to list one skill that someone will remove money from their pocket and pay you for that skill, what would be that one skill? All right, subscribe. I've gotten so serious on this video because I'm teaching things to do with remote work, and I've noticed that there are huge gap right now. Our company is actually growing into an outsourcing company, and I feel like the skill of Africans or Kenyans is very wanting. I'm very scared to get into that space because I feel if I give the wrong talent to my clients, it's going to tarnish the name of the company. But let's see how this turns out. The third thing that you need to consider when you get into remote work is internet, power, and equipment. These are non-negotiable. Please, infrastructure really matters. It matters because you have to deliver people's stuff, you have to deliver work that you've been given, and you will not be saying that you don't have internet. So have a stable internet, and then have a backup Wi-Fi or a hotspot, that immediately when you lose your internet or it buffers, you can be able just to connect and continue with whatever you're doing or communicate as you move. A backup can be an alternative internet provider, or a backup can be you moving to a location. Maybe there's a restaurant near you that you know when electricity goes, that electricity will not be affected, that restaurant will not be affected, and the internet is always stable. So that can be the backup. It's very important for you to just figure out wherever you are, can you get a backup for that. The other thing is that you need to have a reliable power. Sometimes we have power issues in Africa. We can talk about it every time, and you need to have a power bank, mostly for your laptop, because I don't think internet, power and electricity is that reliable. So have a power bank, have a backup plan. Another backup plan is just the same as the one for internet, is that you can identify a restaurant next to you that always has a backup plan when electricity goes, and it can be able just to help you through that. Have a laptop that has a camera, a microphone, and have a professional workspace. Have a desk that you can sit on so that you can be productive. Have a camera, have a microphone, your laptop. There are different specs for laptop, and I really prefer an 8 GB RAM laptop and above for your work. Most of the companies will ask for those things. So have a laptop basic that is going to help you to just achieve whatever you need to achieve. And then employers won't excuse missed meetings due to connectivity issues, due to your laptop has happened. How? Because most of the times I hear someone, my laptop just crashed, my laptop happened. Like, there's just a lot of excuses. Your employer is not going to hear that. For them, they cannot understand that language, because in their country it's already developed. For us, you're still developing. For them, I think we did this developing in developed countries in some point. I can use that knowledge here. So in their countries, it's already developed. For us, we are developing. We don't have that stable internet and stable power that they expect us to have. So they will not hear you saying that. So please have a backup so that you do not lose your job. Number four point that you must consider when you want to get into remote work: you must learn to work independently. Most of you working independently is so hard, and I've worked with a lot of Kenyans in different capacities. I normally hire even on contract basis and freelancing basis to help me with some projects that I do, because I'm a project manager. And so randomly I just get people to come and help me to do some things. And hey, I don't know what happens. Why is there always an emergency in CBD, in Tao? I've gone to town, there's an emergency. Or hospital. People always have an emergency. Always. They have missed out a deadline. They tell you they had an emergency or they were sick. And people are always sick. And guys, you guys are even calling sickness to yourself. Please don't call sickness to yourself. All right? So someone is always sick. Someone is always in town. Someone is always, like, you are expecting them to deliver work, and they are giving you excuses because they are working independently from wherever they are, because nobody is watching you. So if there's no one that is watching you, please, can you work independently and be disciplined and achieve whatever things that you are required to achieve? No supervisor is checking if you have logged in. Mostly my works are normally during your own time. So long as you deliver this at this time and point in time, please work at your own hours, during your own hours. And most of the times people still don't figure that out. All right, you really need to learn how to manage your own time. You really need to manage your own deadlines. You need to have a productivity plan for yourself. Please plan so that you be productive. All right, and the tools that can help you with this is like Google Workspace, Slack for communication. If you can have Notion, Trello, and ClickUp, which are project management tools that are very good to help you even to plan your own personal life. You can have them and just learn them so that you can be able to deliver things on time. This one I'm saying when I want to cry, because people have really failed me, and you don't want to hear, to listen, so that you can be able just to do these things on your own. Results matter more than the hours that I've worked. So you can actually charge according to the results, no matter how much time you put in. So always think about that as you go. All right, and remote work always rewards discipline and not excuses. If you have excuses, please don't get into remote work. Drop all those excuses before you get into remote work, because when you are always in town, you're always in the hospital, you are always sick. Some are genuine, I know, but some it's just an excuse not to deliver the work on the right time. So please drop those excuses before you get into remote work. And the last part na kuna watu hawa you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. The last part is communication skills that matter more than you think. Have you ever thought why people who are lesser skilled than you are being paid more than the ones than you who has more skills, than you who has degrees, have masters and PhDs? You get that someone who doesn't have all those things are being paid better. It's because they communicate well and clearly about their work. They're not afraid to communicate, and they are able to communicate between people. Yes. So over communication wins in remote work. Most remote work is async. You have emails, you have Slack and task boards that are async. There are different types of remote work. There is sync and async. I'm going to talk about that in one of the videos that I'm gonna make. So most remote work is async: email, Slack, task boards, all those things. So please communicate clearly. Clear writing, write clearly whatever you're writing. Is it an email, a Slack message? Do it clearly so that you can avoid mistakes, so that you can make fewer mistakes. Don't have many mistakes, like even spelling mistakes in your writing. And then speak confidently in meetings across time zones. I mean, you are the project manager, you are the virtual assistant that has been given to the CEO, you are the customer support person, you're coming in as a web designer in your field, you are skilled. Can you communicate with some confidence and show that actually I'm skilled at whatever I am doing? And then can you follow the instructions that you've been given by the company? Because sometimes you guys want to invent your own things and you say that you follow instructions. When you get to the work, you start inventing your own things. And so I have an example. I have something to just give you food of thought. Why two people can have the same skills, but one gets hired because they communicate better? Just think about it. Many people actually have the skills. People can I wanted actually to say that you can think about it, like in cases that you have the same skills as someone, and sometimes you feel like you're overqualified for that skill, but someone is hired more, it's hired and you are left behind. It's because they are communicating better. So learn how to communicate clearly and communicate better. All right, so thank you so much, guys. This is the part 1 of the things that you need to know, or the things that you need to consider before getting into remote work. This is the part 1. The part 2 is coming next week, same time, same place. All right, thank you so much for those who have watched up to this point. Please continue to subscribe, share, like, comment. I love your comments. I'm reading them and I'll be answering them. And so yes, and I wish you all the best. And as I always say, see you at the top. Bye.